I chose Raoul Wallenberg because I've always been fascinated and inspired by stories of bravery from World War II. Today I will tell you first how Raoul Wallenberg ended up in Budapest in 1944. Second, I'll discuss the events that led to his detainment by Soviet forces the following year. And third, I'll talk about the possible reasons that he was never seen again. Raoul Wallenberg was born in 1912 to a wealthy Swedish family. This ensured that he had opportunities to learn about different cultures and, more importantly, different languages. This made him an ideal candidate for the War Refugee Board. This agency was created to help civilian victims of Nazis in Hungary and throughout Europe. During Adolf Hitler's final solution, Raoul Wallenberg was asked to go on a rescue mission to Budapest to save Jews from Nazi persecution. While in Budapest, Wallenberg issued Swedish passports to Hungarian Jews so that they couldn't be sent to the death camps because those passports gave them diplomatic immunity. Those passports also ensured that they didn't have to wear the Star of David patch. During that time, Raoul Wallenberg also rented dozens of buildings and called them Swedish diplomatic facilities or the Swedish houses. There's believed to have been 30 of these buildings containing roughly 15,000 Jewish. Wallenberg was assigned as the first secretary to the Swedish legation in Hungary, and he arrived there in Budapest on July 9, 1944, at the age of 31. During the autumn of 1944, Raoul Wallenberg repeatedly and often personally intervened to secure the release of those with certificates of protection or forged papers, as he ended up forging many of these papers when he didn't have enough to go around, and saving as many people as he could from the death march columns. On January 17, 1945, the Soviet Army liberated Budapest. At that time, Wallenberg was arrested and taken to Moscow's Lubyanka prison, where he was presumably detained on suspicion of espionage. He was also believed to be a spy for the US and potentially working with the Nazis, though we do not believe this to be true. Some believe that the order of execution was given by Joseph Stalin at the suggestion of Vyacheslav Molotov. Though it is generally accepted that Wallenberg was executed in 1947 in the Soviet prison, there is evidence that details his death was hidden for political reasons. A Soviet government report in 1956 suggested that Wallenberg died on July 17, 1947, though there were subsequent eyewitness sightings of him in the Soviet prison systems after 1947 that called this statement into question. Documents belonging to General Ivan Serov of the KGB suggest that Wallenberg was being used as part of negotiations leading up to the Nuremberg trials. It's believed that Sweden rejected an opportunity to exchange Soviet defectors for Raoul Wallenberg during those negotiations, and when that didn't work out, he was killed as the trials had ended. In October 2016, 71 years after his disappearance, Swedish officials formally declared Raoul Wallenberg legally dead. In conclusion, Raoul Wallenberg ended up in Budapest in 1944 because he wanted to help save lives. He stood up to the Nazi regime and prevented the murder of over 100,000 Jewish men, women, and children, making him a target of not only the Germans but the Soviet government, which led to his arrest in 1945 and likely his execution in 1947. I'm going to leave you with one more fact. Raoul Wallenberg was once credited in the Guinness Book of World Records for saving more lives than any other individual, and he did so without ever using a weapon. Thank you.